Well, hello there. Okay, last one from me, this one today, and it's a pretty quickish one, I would imagine. I've told you before, you all know, I'm not the cleverest soul in the world, and I don't profess to be. But I'm going to do something different today, something I've not done before. You've all heard of Debbie Does Dallas, obviously. Well, this is Dave Does Politics, or more to the point, Dave Does Economics. So as I say, it's not really my field, but it's just a take on a couple of things I've heard today while I've had the TV on and what have you. Seen a young lady earlier today, a lady from, I think, Burnley, not a million miles from me. Just very upsetting, really. Distressing. No, upsetting. A bit upsetting. Only about 28 years of age. She's got her own shop doing cakes, lovely cakes by the looks of things, and wedding cakes and all kinds of celebration cakes. And she's saying there that they're talking about the economy and how at the moment it's all in a handcart. And she's saying she's in the process now of selling a shop. She used to have 6 employees. She's had to get rid of them all because of the overheads and costs of running the business. She's getting rid of a shop. She's soon to be moving back in with her parents, which is a shame for the young lady and disappointing at 28 years of age. But she says she's struggling to run the business. She said the mortgage in her property's gone up from, just let me have a look, put the bins on it, just bear with me a sec, £513 to £640, which is a fair old leap, especially when you're not making money anyway. She's quoting some ingredient costs and how much they've gone up. She said sort of butter's gone up sort of 10 quid. I think she said a carton, a box of it. Chocolate has gone up, so I think she said 10 quid a bag. I don't know how much it's been a bag, but it's gone up 10 quid. Icing sugar, she said, has absolutely gone crazy. It's doubled in price. Now you can imagine if you're making cakes, using them ingredients all the time, it's going to be difficult to make money. What she's having to do, and it's really drastic, is cut all the small stuff out, all the small cakes and what have you. She said, she said, it's costing me double to put a cake out there. How can I charge double for a cupcake? I wouldn't sell them. I'd have no customers. I'd be making goods to sit on the shelf, they wouldn't get sold. I'd just completely go out of business, and I'm nearly there already. All I can do is the bigger cakes, the wedding cakes and celebration cakes and what have you. But obviously she's going to have less custom. I think she's probably going to run it from her mum's house, but I don't know. I don't think that got mentioned. And I just thought, how sad is it? You know, how awful is this? It really is bad. You know, I know I heard later today, I think on the same channel, but a couple of hours later, I think, is it inflation? I think it was inflation. I think we're up to about 10% inflation now. Or it's gone up 10. Yeah, I think we're on 10% inflation. I think that's what they said. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it said 10%. But they say in places like France and Spain, and I think the great US of A, are nearly to 5%. So their inflation's half of what ours is. And they can't believe ours can be so high. And I just think to myself, yeah, we've had Brexit, and then we've had the pandemic, but everybody suffered from the pandemic, every country in the world. And the prices have just gone through the roof. But I think to myself, why has our inflation gone up so much more than everybody else's? I mean, we had that eat out to help out, and then we had the furlough scheme, and they paid a lot out for that. But other countries have furlough schemes, although I think ours was probably the most generous and helped many people, don't get me wrong. Is the problem, the big problem, at the bottom end of things, is it down to the loans that they gave out, the government gave out? They give like up to 50 grand to whoever held their hand out first. They were giving them away to thousands of people, many from even outside the country, con men who set up 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 different companies and got X amount of £50,000, which they've never paid back in the main and never really been chased. Is it because of the scandals regarding PPI, where a lot of their own people put their friends and relations up to supply PPI, but they never had any idea of what they were doing and never ran a PPI company? And people like this Michelle Mone, who's now disappeared, who took absolutely fortunes and fortunes out of it and got the gig for her husband, although she's in the Tory party, which obviously is very, very wrong. You know, is it down to all of that? How has it got so bad? As I say, I'm not into politics, I'm not a politician, but how has it got so bad? You hear about energy companies, and these energy companies are making absolutely billions and billions and billions of pounds. And they could have taxed them and got bundles off them, but they keep refraining from doing it. You know, I think they worry that if they do that, the energy companies won't put as much into infrastructures further down the line. I'm sure they still will, because them infrastructures will be needed for them to generate even more money. But the biggest thing that concerns me, even more so than energy, is food prices. It's gone absolutely crazy. Again, on a later show, I seen one woman, a consumer editor or a consumer, whatever she was, analyst, doing something with shopping with a young family. And this young family picked a small amount of goods, and the goods came to about £9.40. And she said that would be the average price in the country now for those goods, £9.40. She said 12 months ago, for the same goods, it would have been about £5.10. What's that difference? 80%, 85%, whatever it may be? How on earth are people expected to survive? How on earth? They interviewed another young lady there that said, I know many, many people at the NHS, I work at the NHS, many of them, not hundreds but thousands, using food banks. She said, nobody should be using food banks that's got a job. That should be for the unemployed people that have no money. But many aren't just employed, they're actually employed by the NHS. It's supposed to be a good job. They're saving people's lives and looking after us, and they can't afford to buy food. But my concern would be are the big supermarket chains like your Asda's and your Tesco's and your Morrison's and all these companies, are they still making the same kind of money that they always have made? Are they still making millions and billions? Now, I don't know, but I bet they are. If things are so much harder and everything costs so much more money and we all have to pay much, much more to get the food that is needed, which we need, it's our fuel. If it costs so much more for us, that means we're losing money. Are the supermarkets doing the same? Are they putting the bills up to the areas that they need to be put up to get this food out to us? But are they spending a lot more to get the food in? Are they making less money like we're making less money? Because for all our wages is going to food, or lots of our wages go into food, and it's a much, much bigger bill than it ever was before, so that leaves us with less money. At the end of it all, when we've paid all this money for our food, have the supermarkets collectively got a lot less money? Because if they haven't, that's shameful and it's shocking, and it would worry me. Now, I know some of these big supermarket chains were British at one time. I think many of them have been bought out by America or places of that ilk. I know Asda for a start has been, is it Walmart in America? But surely these supermarkets that are a mainstay of our country should be there to not only feed the people but also to look after the people. Surely if they're putting our prices up massively, they're doing it because they have to be put up. And surely because we're losing money, they're losing it as well. If they aren't, there's something really wrong here. And whatever government's in power, they should have the power to do something about it. The farmers have always been let down. They've always struggled for milk prices and meat prices and crops. Milk has gone up massively. Let's say milk has gone up, say, 40 or 50%. Now, I know the farmer's costs. He's got his cows, his milk cows, and he's got to give them food if they're not eating grass, maybe, and he's got to give, I don't know if they give them food, or do they live, if they live on grass or whatever else, that's the same price it always was, unless seed costs a bit more. But if the farmer is getting more money, if it's costing him more to provide the milk and the meat and all these things, and the supermarkets are charging us more, the extra that they're charging us, is it going to the farmer? I'll bet it's not. If the farmer needs it, because he's paying out so much more, if he needs it and he's getting it, I've got no problem with that. I've got no problem with that at all. But I would hate to find that all these products that come from, let's say, farms, the prices are hiking up massively. They don't need to hike up massively because the cost to make them, to produce them, isn't that much more. I would hate to think that the farmer's not getting all this extra money and it's going in the pockets of the fat cats at Asda and Tesco and Aldi, Lidl, Marks and Sparks and all these people. And that's just my thoughts. I've not got a clue what I'm on about, as you can probably guess. Me and politics just do not go together. We just do not go together the same way. No, I won't. I'd normally call somebody, but I'm not going to. But anyway, there's my thoughts. I cannot believe this country has gone into such a depression in such a quick time. I cannot believe people are having to worry about heating and or food or vice versa. I can't. It shouldn't be that bad. If people are working a 40-hour week, they should be able to food, clothe and warm themselves. They should just be basic things that are covered. But I do hope that the supermarkets aren't fat catting like the energy companies are. And if they are, it's up to the government to sort them out as well as the energy companies. I can't believe nobody's doing it. Okay, that's it.